I went to Panama City, Panama for the first time ever to see if I could live there as an expat. So let me give you all the tea. Hi, if you haven't seen me before, my name is Shay. I'm your expat bestie here on YouTube, and today we're gonna talk about Panama City first impression. By the way, this video is long. Let it play in the background like a podcast while you do other things. I have all the tea on Panama City you do not want to miss. So if you are researching on how Panama City is to visit, even maybe to live as an expat, then this video is for you. So I have a friend, my bestie Chris. He's been telling me all about Panama City for a while now, and I'm thinking about I only know Panama from Panama Canal. That's about it. I never even thought about visiting Panama, the country, right? Because I felt like there was nothing there. I never researched it, never come across my mind. I mean, I know of Panama Canal, that's about it. I have zero clue on how Panama is as a travel destination, as a place where expats move to and live. So I have no idea. So I figured that, maybe I should go and check it out and see if I, as an expat myself, I've been living in the US for 25 years. I don't consider myself an immigrant because I'm originally from Malaysia and I'm here as an expat, living here until the time comes. So never really come across my mind to consider Panama, especially Panama City, because it has to be the city because I'm a city boy. I grew up in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, so I'm from the city in Malaysia, so I need to be in the city. So wherever I am, like for example, right now I'm in Columbus, Ohio, a city. I was in Las Vegas. Before that, I was in San Diego. Before that, so I've always been in a city. I don't want to be in a rural area. So I don't know how Panama City is compared to, say, San Diego or Vegas. But from the videos that I've seen on YouTube, it looks like they said it's something like Miami. There's a lot of skyscrapers, a lot of condominiums, like towers, tall buildings, etc. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to be able to judge it for myself. So I figured, why not take a trip there? So this trip is, like I said, my first time going to Panama City, Panama, not the one in Florida. I've been to that one. I've been to Panama City Beach in Florida, next to Destin. Fine, but that's not the one we're talking about today. So Panama City, Panama. I was gonna go and check out also some of the condo developments that they have in Panama City. I found a few from YouTube. Chris has been sending me a lot of them to look at. So I figured, I reached out to a couple of real estate agents in Panama City saying, hey, let's meet up and let's go see these properties, right? I found a few that I am interested in looking at. Let me give you like day by day what I did, because I went with my bestie, Chris, and let me tell you what we did day by day, then I'll tell you what I think. So the first day is going from Columbus because there's no flight direct Columbus to Panama City. You have to fly to Chicago first. Or you can fly to Atlanta, you can fly to Miami, I guess. But we decided to fly to Chicago. So we flew on American Airlines. Chris actually flew one day earlier and he actually overnighted in Chicago at the hotel, the airport there. I decided to not do that and I decided to fly in the morning. So there was a major storm, winter storm in Chicago area that kind of caused planes coming into Chicago O'Hare to be delayed. There was like rain and thunderstorm, whatnot. So that delayed my flight for 3 hours. We did not leave Columbus until 3 hours later. Thankfully, my connecting flight from Chicago to Tocumen Airport in Panama City was later in the afternoon. So I was kind of worried that I'm not going to catch that flight because, a 3-hour delay. But thank God I was able to get to Chicago just in time to get to the flight from Chicago to Panama City. By the way, if you are flying to Chicago, if you don't check your bags, I did not. So I decided not to check my bag. It's just carry on. I just have the backpack. You don't have to go out of security to collect your bag and come back through security, because the flight from Columbus flew into Terminal 3. If you don't check your bag, you don't have to collect your bag because you're changing airlines. From Columbus to Chicago, that was American, but Chicago to Panama City, that was on Copa Airlines, Panama Airlines. Copa. Different airlines, if you check your bag, you have to take your bags and then recheck that back in with Copa for the flight down to Panama City. So I didn't have to worry about that. So what I did was, when I go there and I had to go to the other terminal, Terminal 5, I didn't have to go out from the security, fetch my bags, right? So I didn't have to do that. I just took a transfer bus, terminal transfer bus. I think that's what it's called. I asked AI actually, like, where is the gate? So the one I think I took was K20. There's another gate that the bus actually picks up passengers to transfer to Terminal 5. And then at Terminal 5, the gate was M13. That's where the bus will drop you off. You just go to the gate, K20, give them your passport, boarding pass, and they'll check it, and you wait for the bus. Bus comes, you get on the bus, they'll transfer you over to the international terminal where Copa Airlines is. My gate was M24, I believe, and M13 is like very close by. So it's very easy to get to once you're already in that terminal. You can walk, I believe, Chris, walk between the different terminals, or if you are out of the security, you can take the train. We took that coming back because you have to switch to different terminals anyway. But then you have to go through immigration at that point when you come back, right? So you have to go out, collect your bag, you have to go out. Going there, you don't need to if you don't have any bags. The flight from Chicago O'Hare to Tocumen, I hope I pronounced it correctly, in Panama City took 5 hours. So I was not able to get a seat on the business class. I usually go on business class because I'm using my miles. I use Avianca Live Miles to book the flight. I wasn't able to get the business seat. I was only able to get the economy seat, but I paid Copa to upgrade myself to the exit row. So if you do the same thing what I did, the first exit row that they have doesn't recline, but it has more space on the leg, the leg room that's way bigger than the exit row where I sit, and behind it can recline, but the leg room is not as big as the one that can't recline in front of me, FYI. And then the seat itself was not big, and if you have a bigger size passenger sitting next to you, you might be cramped. I was pretty much cramped for the 5 hours of the flight, so it hurt my tailbone so much. But coming back, I was able to upgrade myself to a business class. That was much better. But yes, if you are flying Copa, try and get the exit row. At least you have some more room than the standard economy. They serve pasta. Was not bad. There was also another beef option that you can get, because it's an international flight. 5 hours of flight time. They serve you food. They serve you coffee, tea, soft drinks, all that stuff on economy. So the flight from O'Hare actually was also delayed, maybe like half an hour. I was supposed to arrive in Panama City like around 8, I think, and we didn't get to Panama City like until 8:30 or something. So by the time we got there, I didn't have to go for luggage, right? But it was kind of like the end of the day for them. The immigration at Panama City was super easy because there's nobody there. I mean, they have the immigration officers, but there's no line. I was just pretty much by myself. Go through that, and they asked how long are you gonna stay here. I think they asked for what reason. I said vacation, never been here before, and I said, just didn't ask much or anything. I believe I scanned my thumb, my thumbprint, and my fingers, like four fingers. I believe that was the thing, but that's it. This was very easy to get, especially if you are, like I said, I'm Malaysian. I have a Malaysian passport. We don't need a visa to go to Panama. So if you are one of the countries that do not need a visa, it should be painless for you to get in without much fuss, because you can stay in Panama City according to your country's agreement with Panama, right? So I don't remember exactly, but I think Malaysians can stay there for like 3 months or something. Don't quote me on this, I might be wrong. Do your due diligence first. I'm only gonna be there for 5 days, so not a problem. Before you get out to custom, because the last thing that they will check is custom declaration, right? So if you have anything, you brought luggage or whatever, they will scan it to see if you brought anything, you know, like you're not supposed to bring. Like, I don't know. I wasn't, you know, I have a backpack. And once you get into the terminal, after immigration, you can actually buy food. They have, surprisingly, a number of American dining establishment there. For example, Olive Garden. I did not expect to see Olive Garden in Panama City, because they have, you know, pretzels. They have, I got some pretzel. I found a local Panama brand, I guess, for pizza. So I was starving. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy a pizza as well. I think Soy del Barrio is the name. So I had that. I had pretzels and I bought some water. They have this Panama spring water called Panama Blue, which is really, really good. So if you're going there, get that one. They sell that everywhere. They even sell the sparkling version in a glass bottle. Still version is in a plastic bottle. Panama Blue. I went through custom, and custom just, you know, like I said, scan my backpack. So I only had backpack and then like a personal item, right? My other bag where I put my passport and all that stuff. So it wasn't a big deal to go through custom. Once I'm outside, you can get an Uber. So there is Uber in Panama City Airport. So you just open Uber, just enter your destination, and then it will tell you where to go to wait for your Uber driver. So it's literally just outside. So you go outside the main entrances, and I will tell you, go close to the spots 15, 17, whatever. So you just follow there's not really sign that says Uber or rideshare. You just have to follow the directions of the app tells you. And then once you get to the parking spots or parking area 15 and 17, you will see there's like a passenger, and my Uber is already there, right? He called my name and I said, yeah, it's me. So I got into Uber. The Uber ride actually took about maybe like, because I was staying in Coco del Mar in one of the Airbnbs, actually in one of the buildings that I wanted to see, because the building is new. It is selling some of the units. It's one of the buildings that I was interested in looking with the realtors. So they even have the first few floors for Airbnb hotel license. They call it the hotel. So you can stay in one of because the units is all the same, even though it's like above it is the residences units, and the below the first few floors are Airbnb hotel. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay there. So that's why Uber took about 18 minutes, because the building that I was staying, I mentioned to you, the Airbnb is in Coco del Mar. So from Tocumen Airport to Coco del Mar only took 18 minutes. And it was cheap too. It was like $12.21 for the whole entire trip. So it was really, really nice to see that Uber in Panama City is cheap. Actually, the entire trip, every time we had to go somewhere, like to go to Multiplaza Mall, whatever, it was not pricey at all. Of course, not as cheap as in Southeast Asia, in Kuala Lumpur, it's way much cheaper. But still, if you compare it to the US, Uber was cheap in Panama City. Anyway, on Uber itself, we went through the streets, and my first impression was like if I was arriving into Don Muang in Bangkok. You know, Bangkok has Suvarnabhumi Airport, which is their main airport, and they have a low-cost version called Don Muang, a little bit further away. And that ride from Don Muang to central Bangkok is this kind of like the similar vibe that is giving when I was on the Uber from Tocumen to Coco del Mar. So it has like, you know, the tall overpass where There's another road above you, with the, I don't even know how to describe the overpass, but I'm talking about, when the cars above you and there's like big pillars, in the middle of the road and stuff like that. And then the surrounding is kind of like giving some kind of, areas in Malaysia as well. It's very similar vibe. Of course, it's nighttime, it's like 9 something. I couldn't see well the surrounding because it's dark. I mean, there's lights, but can't really see it as compared to during the daytime. So only take like 80 minutes to get to the residences that I was staying, the Airbnb. Thankfully, the front desk person, because they have 2 separate entrances. These residences, one is for residents only, and one is for Airbnb/hotel guests. They have a separate front desk that took care of that. And I was glad that when I got there, the person was still there and then left for the day, right? Or else, because I'm used to, like in Malaysia, I have stayed in kind of like a similar setup where they had hotels / Airbnb in the same building. The building is called EST in Bangsa. If you stay there, the check-in guy is there 24/7. And also, they will tell you to pick up the key to the apartment in the mailbox, right? They will give you the mailbox key and everything. But this one, I guess what happens if you go there, your flight get majorly delayed and the person's already left. So I don't know. Thank God I didn't have to deal with that. The person was there, checked me in. I guess they sent the code to my room through WhatsApp because I booked it through Airbnb. They found my phone number on the Airbnb and they sent the message there saying that, hey, this is the code you need to get into the room. I guess if you book, make sure that the number you give Airbnb is the same number that you use for your WhatsApp because it was not the number I used for my WhatsApp. So that's a mismatch. They sent it to the other number and I never got it. And good thing they're still there. That person's still there, or else I don't know how I'm going to get into the room. Anyhow, got into the room. Like I said, this is one of the buildings that I'm interested in looking at with the realtors. So the unit I was staying is a 1-bedroom unit that looks so much bigger in videos and pictures that I saw than real life. And they also have a lot of things in there. Like the unit itself is a loft style. So once you walk in, you have this wall where the stove is, the kitchen stuff. You don't have a specific kitchen. By the way, I'll do a whole tour later, but I'm just going to give you the description. They don't have a specific kitchen area. The kitchen and the living room and the dining room all in one area. So that's why it feels like compact. And they also put like 4-seater dining set in there. So it just makes the place feels cramped. I would put just 2-seater. Because they have like, the 3-seater couch, everything, the TV and everything. Like I said, I'll put the link later for you if you want to actually see the unit and see what I'm talking about. But it felt compact. I was like, it looks so much bigger in the pictures and videos. Upstairs is the loft where the bedroom is, the mezzanine level, right? Because it's basically like you have to go up the stairs to go to the bedroom. The bedroom had a queen size, I believe, queen size bed. The space can only fit that much bed before it hits the wall. It's really there's not much space to even walk because you have the bathroom over here and then closet over here. It's like even like to get to the closet, there's this much space and they put a TV here. So I had to actually walk sideways to even get to the closet. So it was something that I was like, oh my God, why is this so compact? And this is the unit I'm considering of buying, right? I'm like, maybe not a good idea for me. I mean, because the thing is like, I am looking to get something that I'm gonna, first of all, it's a new development. I would like to actually come to Panama and stay there for a few months, maybe enroll in a Spanish school, and learn Spanish and, enjoy the culture and everything. Then I'm gonna like rent it out, right? But I don't think I could live in this particular unit because it's one bedroom. So I was like, oh, maybe the two bedroom is bigger. I'm going to be looking at the two bedroom the next day with the agent. It's just that, like I said, the first few floors are Airbnb slash hotel. The same setup on the higher floors are for residents for you to purchase and live there or rent it out, whatever. But the residence portion are considered long term only. You cannot do short term on this residence portion. It's 45 days plus. So if somebody is going to rent it out for 45 days or more, then you can rent those to them. The lower floors are for short term, like few days, a day, whatever. I love the setup of the loft. However, I think I would need more space if I'm going to live there. For a few days, fine. It's just basically an expanded hotel room, right? When you have a loft, that's not just like a small hotel room. You have this tall ceilings, tall windows, floor to ceiling windows. And then the unit itself faces the pool. They have a guest pool on the second floor. I was on the third floor that guests of the hotel Airbnb can use. And for residents, if you buy a unit there, you can use the rooftop pool. So they have two pools. The rooftop pool is only for residents. The one on the second floor is for guests of the Airbnb hotel. I was just so tired from the trip because, like I told you, I was delayed 3 hours and then got there, like by the time I reached the thing was like 10 something, 10:08, according to my Uber app. And I was just like exhausted and I just feel like, oh my God, this is like, I don't know if this is for me. I did not have, to be honest, I did not have like wow, because when I'm Malaysian, when I go to Thailand, like Bangkok, I feel like this overjoyed. I feel like, oh my God, I'm home. I feel like so much happier just to be in Bangkok, in Thailand, not even in Malaysia. Whenever I go to Thailand, whenever I go to like Bangkok, Phuket, whatever, Bangkok especially, I feel like I'm home, I did not feel that, to be honest, in Panama City, but it still feels like there's this calmness to it. It's just that, like I said, my long day of travel, maybe that's why I came into the Airbnb that is a little bit more compact than I thought it would be. So I guess that's the whole thing. I'd be like, I don't know if this is for me. And I was like, but I'm just gonna, I'm gonna be here for a few days, so let's just try and enjoy it. I mean, Chris already got there, the Hyatt Regency, so he's already settled for the night. I'm the one who just got in, right? And feeling like, I don't know, we'll see, I guess, But so that was day one. Are you ready for day two? Because I'm thirsty. Oh well. Okay, we are back. Okay, so day two. So day two started like around 10, I believe. 10, I had made an appointment with one of the agents that I've been talking. Actually, I found her boss showing off properties in San Francisco. So I contacted them and they assigned this agent to me. So she have arranged for me and Chris to see the residences that I was staying at, and then a couple of projects, and one of them is actually nearby the residences. So I met with her and the developer that was responsible for the residence that I was staying in. Chris came over, we met, and the developer guy, he was not able to speak a lot of English. So I was so fortunate that she can. My agent could understand it and translate to me. And Chris also speaks Spanish. Both of them were able to understand what he's saying and translate it to me. So that was great. We look at the two bedroom units in the same building. Like I said, you have to go into the residence entrance, go up the elevators to this unit, which is really similar to the one bedroom, except on a higher floor to have a really nice view of the Pacific Ocean. It has the I don't even know what the causeway, the road that on the ocean that you can see. So there was a really nice view of the ocean. The tide was, it was a low tide, so you don't see the water comes to the coast. So it's kind of like, you know, you can see the floor, in a low tide when you see the floor of the ocean. It's not like where the water is kind of like far away. Anyway, so the setup is otherwise similar. It felt compact, and the only difference is that in the first floor, the mezzanine is where the bedroom is for the master, right? The second bedroom is actually tucked underneath the stairs, even going up. And there's only a twin size bed, so I don't know if you can even fit another queen in there, but they only put a twin size bed, and that's like a, I believe there is a closet in there, and I'm not sure if there's a bathroom or not. And the top bedroom actually had a bigger closet, like the walk-in closet, way bigger than the one I was staying at. And this two bedroom, and the two bedroom is also more expensive. I believe it was like 300 something. It's not that much bigger than the one bedroom that I was staying. Other than the fact that it has a glorious view, I don't think it was quite a good deal for me, right? Because it was 300 something, and then it still feel compact. I thought it was gonna be like more spacious, and I didn't feel it that way. But that building has a lot of amazing common areas. They have a dining, like a room. You can basically book it and cook for your friends and family and friends, whatever. You can even have like, you know, your own cooking channel if you do YouTube and shoot there. It's like, it's a whole kitchen dining area that you can book, and they even have a cinema, projection room, presentation room, podcast studio. So if you're a podcaster that need a professional equipment, you can rent the podcast studio, and separate YouTube studio with the lighting that I'm using here in my basement studio. The whole thing, they have, you know, like I said, the rooftop pool, and there's a rooftop barbecue area. They have, what else? They have a game room, like activity room. They have meeting rooms. There's so much. I feel like the building is geared for Gen Z. There's a lot of the you know, like I said, you know, like a content creation. If you are an influencer, if you're a content creator, you would enjoy being in that building, because you can, you know, there's plenty of the common areas that you can rent and do your content, right? But the actual units, I am not that impressed because of the size and the S that doesn't, to me, in my opinion, doesn't correlate with the size. But amenities, top notch. If you need to be somewhere where it has all those amenities, those, like I said, content creation amenities, then that is the place to be. Okay, so after that, we actually walk over to the next development, which is just actually a few minutes away from the residence that I was staying. So we didn't even have to drive there. We just walk. So walking in Coco del Mar. So Panama City, apparently, I haven't walked everywhere, obviously. I'm only there for a few days. But in Coco del Mar, the sidewalks are not proper sidewalks. Some of them have sidewalks. Some the thing doesn't really have like broken up or something. So I think it's a thing in Panama City that they don't have, some areas that don't have proper sidewalks, but it's still walkable. Like we could walk along the road, even though there's no like actual sidewalk, like, you know, that they built. So we got there, and this building actually is under construction still, but they do have model units for us to look at. So we met with the developer sales lady there, and she was super pleasant, super friendly, and this one can speak English. So she was able to explain everything in English. We go up using their temporary elevators up to the floor where they have the model units that's already like furnished and everything to show to potential buyers. We look at this one, the first model that we look at was, oh my god, it's super nice. It's luxurious feel. There's like black and white decor. I took some videos of the model units. I will put it later for you. You can check it out later. But it was nice. I was like, this is even Chris. This is like, I was telling them, if you go to Chris' house, this is how it's gonna look like. You know, really nice countertops. The most amazing thing about that place, that was the biggest unit that we saw. All the units have 2 bedrooms. All the models have 2 bedrooms. But the differentiator is the bathroom. In that biggest one, it has a bathroom for the master. The second bedroom has its own bathroom. Then there is a guest bathroom outside by the kitchen. Not by the kitchen, by the living room. And then there's also a maid's quarter with her own bathroom, not a half bathroom, a whole shower and everything. So there's 4 bathrooms in the biggest unit. And the biggest unit is like 120, I believe, square meters. That is the most expensive unit. I believe is close to 400K. It's like 390, 380, 390K for that biggest unit. And they have one that faces the ocean and one that faces the park. Park Omar is in San Francisco. That is not too far from Coco Del Mar. The big giant greenery that they have in the middle of the city is called Park Omar. So you have a view of the Park Omar, or you have the view of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, that you can choose from. So your pricing depending on which view and which floor, right? One that facing the ocean, there is a parking lot in front of it that they said that they could turn it into another building, but there's a lot of this 2-story, 1-story homes around the area as well. I think they have like some ordinance that does not allow people to build too close to the coast. That's like tall buildings. And then she did say that if you do want to buy, just to ensure that you get a nice view, unobstructed view, just in case the one in front of the building, you know, the parking lot, they built another condo, make sure that floor 15 and above. Then, because they cannot build more than that apparently. So if you're 15 and above on this particular building, then you're fine. You will never be obstructed of the ocean. That's what she told me. That was interesting. Like I said, it's super nice. Like if I'm gonna live there full time, I would buy it because it's super nice and premium. Because I want to only live there for a little bit and then rent it out. It's too nice to rent it out. Like I don't want to be like people, you know, destroying all the nice furnishing and everything. It's just too nice to rent, in my opinion. And then we went to see the second model, which is a smaller model, only have 3 bathrooms instead of 4. There is no guest bathroom. Each bedroom still have its own bath, but mid-tier model does not come with guest bathroom. Still have a maid quarter, still have a maid bathroom, it just doesn't have a specific guest bathroom. And that's like $350. And then actually they have even a spot that's flexible space that you can turn into an office. It's another bedroom. If you close it off, they had it as a dining room. They put a dining set there, like a 4-seater dining set. And that is around 350K. That is actually the unit that they said are very popular for buyers. And even me and Chris love that unit more than the first one. The mid-tier one was fine, even though it doesn't have a guest bathroom. The guests can use any of the 3 other bathrooms, right? So not really a big deal. The mid-tier unit is about like 110 square meters, I believe. The smallest unit is at 90 something square meters. And the only difference is that this one wasn't furnished. It was just like a bare bone demo unit that they showed us. But it still have 2 bedrooms. Each bedroom has its own bathroom. The only difference is that it doesn't have that guest bathroom and it doesn't have a maid quarter with her own bathroom, right? So it's only 2 bathroom and 2 bedrooms. Still 2 bedrooms. They all have 2 bedrooms, like I said, but this one only have 2 bathrooms versus 3 in the mid tier, and then the high tier is 4 bathrooms plus the maid quarter. That was the smallest unit. The smallest unit goes through, I believe, is $330,000. And Panama uses USD. So every time I say dollar amount, it means US dollar because there's not really a Panamanian dollar that they use over there. That's like different than the US dollar. They use US dollar. I meant US dollar. We saw that. And then my agent actually lives in the building next door. So the last unit that we were going to see is in San Francisco, which is, I mean, Coco is also part of San Francisco, but it's a little bit north. And the one that we're gonna see next is further down a little bit, just closer to the Parque Oma. So we had to take her car, which is convenient. Like I said, she lived in the building next door, so we go on her car to there, so we didn't have to walk in the sun. But the thing is, even though it was like 91 when we were walking from the Airbnb residence that I stayed to this second one, in the bright sun, even though the sun was bright, it wasn't scorching hot, even though it was also 90 degrees, because Panama City is by the sea, so there's a breeze coming. If you look at the latitude of the globe, Panama City and Phuket in Thailand is on the same latitude. So, and Phuket is an island, so it has a sea breeze, right? So also very similar to Penang in Malaysia. If you've been to Penang in Malaysia, Penang Island in Malaysia, you will notice that similarity, right? Even though it's really hot, it's not that hot as opposed to the valley like in KL. In Kuala Lumpur, it's in a valley, so the heat gets trapped there, there's no sea breeze. But yeah, Panama City is like Penang. That's basically my equation in my head. This is just like Penang. It's a cool sea breeze. Even though it's 90 degrees, the sun is not scorching hot. Like in KL, it'll be like, oh my God, you know. I mean, it's humid to me, but I don't feel, because I came from Kuala Lumpur, so I'm used to the humidity, so it doesn't really bother me as much. It wasn't bad, basically what I'm trying to say, the weather. But good that we didn't have to walk through that to the other one, because it's a bit further down. We went there in her car, and this one I wanted to see because they had a really cool option that the bedrooms are 2 bedrooms but separated with a connecting door. So it's basically, they call it the lock-off options. One side is really the bedroom that has the bed, a kitchenette, you know, and its own bathroom, but there is a connecting door in the middle that goes to the next portion of the unit that has a full kitchen, you know, living room, its own bathroom, bedroom, and all that. And it has a separate entrance. So each side has a separate entrance. So there's 2 entrances. You basically get 2 in 1. They call it the lock-off option. That's what I wanted to see, and that's what I saw in the demo that they had. But unfortunately, they were sold out of all their lock-off options. They have the same 2-bedroom, but without the lock-off feature. There's no connecting door. There is no separate entrance, but still 2-bedroom in the corner that I'm like, this is not what I want for this particular building. That building is in San Francisco, just a couple of blocks away from Parque Omar, the big park. The area is really good. Outside the building, you have a spa, you have a gas station, you can walk to the Mercedes dealership, you can walk to the Ray's, one of the grocery store in Panama City. There's a bank there, there is KFC. Everything's like within walking distance, and Parque Oma just a couple of blocks away. So that location wise is really good. I don't think it's facing the main road. The unit that we saw was actually facing the side road. So it wasn't too bad. But like I said, you know, the option, the lock-off option is what I really want. And they don't have that anymore. So I'm like, okay, never mind then, you know. So we look at the demo unit that's a lock-off, and then we look at the other unit that I said, like a, you know, like a corner unit, but without the lock-off. But since they are out of the lock-off, so I was like, okay, that's fine, thank you. That's basically our properties viewing part of the day for day number 2. And then we went to Multi Plaza Mall, asked the agent to drop us there. Multi Plaza Mall is really big. If you are familiar with KL, it's giving not quite as big as Pavilion Bukit Bintang in Kuala Lumpur or TRX, but it's quite sizable. There's a lot of fancy luxury stores there. There's Reba Smith, which is kind of like Whole Paycheck here, Whole Foods here in the US. It's a fancy grocery store. They was there, and all the fancy dining, even the food court has all the American food establishments. Like they have Wendy's, they have KFC, they have Olive Garden, like I said, they have Papa John's. All the stuff that you have here, they have there. They even have PF Chang's. So if you're into PF Chang's, you love PF Chang's. I don't know how PF Chang's over the taste because we didn't get to try it. We did try the KFC. The KFC, I was pleased that the KFC was not bad because I don't like KFC in the US. The best KFC that I've had, in my opinion, is in Malaysia. Like if you ever get the chance, try the KFC in Tokyo, try in KFC in Bangkok, try in KFC in other cities in Southeast Asia, and try the one in Kuala Lumpur, and you'll see what I mean. The Kuala Lumpur one is the best one. Sorry, but it's just the true facts. Anyway, but the one in Panama City at the Multi Plaza Mall wasn't bad either. They have this really interesting sauce for the chicken, and the chicken you can do a la carte, and you can actually choose the chicken breast, because I usually, in Malaysia, you don't have to, I mean, you can just tell, if you get a snack plate, you can just tell the cashier that you want chicken breast. But this one, you can specifically choose the chicken breast. I guess they charge extra for that. But the sauce is buffalo ranch. But the interesting part about this sauce, it tasted like durian. You know the thorny fruit with the creamy center, the creamy fruit, and can be very pungent to some people that do not like durian and think it smells like wet socks or whatever. For those people who love durian, like me, myself and I, it's a very interesting sauce. I'm like, why am I tasting durian in buffalo ranch? So that was very, very interesting experience. The mashed potato was good, the gravy was good, a little bit dry, but the gravy was a little bit dry, but the mashed potatoes was fine. I got fries was good, and then I also got cheese sandwich, basically a chicken sandwich with cheese on it. That was good as well. And Chris had apple pie, he had some chicken, so we both were pleased. We got a lot of food because we didn't eat breakfast, right? And we had to go through all the viewings of the properties without eating breakfast. So we had a lot of KFC food. So that was nice. The food court had a lot of options that you can. There's also Panda House, which is Panama's version of Panda Express. That was there too. So they have all these options that you can go, and people were there because it was on a Monday. So there's still people there, like bringing their family, whatever, eating lunch there. After that, we decided to get some boba next, and I was so happy that Multi Plaza in the same food court has Zing Fung Tang. That is my favorite boba place, ever, because why? They have matcha plus strawberry boba, strawberry balls. It's not brown sugar. They made it from strawberry. They actually make it right there. They make the tapioca, dough and everything. They put in the machine and spits out all the balls. Strawberry. You don't find anywhere else that has strawberry balls. At least I haven't found a brand that has strawberry balls except Zing Fung Tang's. So I was so happy that they have it there, because they didn't have that in San Diego. They didn't have that in Vegas. They have it in LA. They have it in New York. That's it. I think Seattle maybe. But yeah, limited location that has limited cities, even in the US, that has Zing Fung Tang. But I was so happy that Panama City has it at the Multi Plaza Mall and the food court. I forgot what he had, some kind of passion fruit or something. Anyway, but it was good. And then we went to Riba Smith. We got some, I got some Panamanian strawberries, like hydroponic strawberries. It was this, little packet for $2.50. Like I said, US dollar. And then I got the Panama Blue sparkling water that's in a glass bottle. I got hairspray. They call it Laka, by the way. If you need hairspray, there's this white bottle that says Laka on the thing, which is really good. It's $3 something for my hair because I didn't bring enough hairspray. And we went to this French bakery across from Riba Smith and I got this pistachio croissant, which is croissant, a big giant croissant filled with pistachio cream in it. A lot of that. It was a little bit sweet. But we decided to just get that, and he got something as well from the bakery. And we decided to just, go back to our respective accommodation to have our own time, dinner by ourselves, right? We're not going to meet up for dinner. And I went back with an Uber, and he went back to his hotel. I went back to the residence, and I decided even to go into the pool. The second floor has a pool for the guests. There's almost nobody there. It was just by myself. It was great. I had the croissant in the room, and then decided to get in bed early because the next day, day 3, is where we meet the immigration attorney. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Okay, day 3 is when we met up, me and Chris met up with the immigration lawyer, because the reason that you would want to buy in Panama, other than buying for investment to get rental income if you don't want to live there, is also that you, with a 300K property purchase, you will also get the added bonus of permanent residency. So basically like Panamanian green card. I don't know if it's actually green like the US version, but you get that with the property purchase of 300K plus. So I wanted to meet up with the immigration attorney about this whole residency visa with investment program that they have, right? So we met up like 11 o'clock at the attorney's office in, I believe, is close by Bella Vista or Barrio, maybe. I don't know exactly the area, but it's not too far away from El Cangrejo. It's just a couple of blocks away from Via Argentina. The attorney went through the whole program. What's it about? We asked questions about the program and everything. I'm gonna do a whole video on the whole Panamanian residency visa later, and I'll put it in the description and comment section later, so make sure you subscribe to my channel because I'll be doing that video separately later. After the law firm visit, we went to El Cangrejo for lunch, and he suggested, that the attorney suggested us to try El Trapiche. It's a Panamanian food restaurant in El Cangrejo. So El Cangrejo is this kind of like a boho chic, artsy, lots of cafes, lots of restaurants. They have all kinds of shops there, right? That bars even have. I saw an Irish pub. There's all kinds of stuff there that you can walk. It's very walkable along Via Argentina. You can find all this food and coffee shops and bars and stuff. So people do go there a lot, and there are people who actually live there as well. So I wanted to go check it out, and I specifically wanted local Panamanian food that I haven't had that because, the previous day we had KFC. So we wanted to go, and he said, go to El Trapiche. I had this Panamanian, I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like jumbo shrimp. Because of the location of Panama City, the water is right there. You get fresh seafood for really good prices. Prices in Panama are not as expensive as here in the US. I got this jumbo shrimps with this curry sauce, which is kind of like sweet curry. I never actually had sweet curry before. So the Panamanian curry that I had at El Trapiche was sweet. We got shrimps also, but with another kind of sauce or something. And they give you rice, they give you to eat with the curry, and fried plantain, which is great. And one thing in Panama, you can sit in an establishment as long as you want. They will not come and, are you ready for the check? They will not bother you unless you go and ask for the check from them. So that was great. So we were left alone, have our meal as long as we want. And then that was great. And we decided afterwards to just walk around in the bright sun. Like I said, it's still not scorching hot, even though it was 90 degrees. I hope you can hear it. My heat unit just turned on because it's still chilly here in Columbus, in my basement at 2 a.m. in the morning. I can't wait to be in Panama when it's 80 degrees, 90 degrees all year round. I'm assuming at night also it's not that hot, right? It's not that cold at night. It's probably 70 something. Anyway, so we were walking along Via Argentina in in El Cangrejo and saw all the, like I said, other shops, the bars, the Irish pub, the coffee shop. We decided to go to a coffee shop called Sucaro, like sugar, I guess, in Spanish. We also saw, Chris pointed out there is a Spanish school on Via Argentina, because I'm thinking that if I buy a place there, I'm gonna stay there for a few months and then enroll in a Spanish school so I can learn how to speak Spanish, right? So there's a school there, very convenient. And then we went to the Socaro coffee shop. We had like this matcha. I had a banana cupcake. Chris got some kind of dessert that I don't remember now. But we both had matcha, iced matcha. It was okay. It was not, not like the greatest matcha latte, iced matcha latte, but at least it's matcha. So we wanted something like that. And then we decided we should go back to our respective accommodation and meet up later at the old city. So that night we actually went, I thought we were gonna go to Panama Viejo, where the ruins of the old Spanish forts are. No, Chris said it's different area in the old city UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is called Casco Viejo, also called Casco Antiguo, and that's San Felipe is the other name. It's the old quarter of Panama. So they have colonial buildings, Spanish colonial buildings, right? So it was giving, because we went there for dinner. We went to this restaurant called Enkai. It is in the middle of the Casco Viejo, where there's a church there, like a big giant church. There's a museum there, and Enkai was there. It's a Nikkei food. Nikkei is Peruvian Japanese food. I've had Peruvian Japanese food in KL. My first time ever having Nikkei food was in Kuala Lumpur, believe it or not. So they have really amazing ceviche. We had sangria. It was great. I was super happy after sangria. It was awesome. It was like ceviche. Like I said, I had ceviche. We had like nigiris, the fish, the tuna, the salmon was amazing. The shrimp, we had shrimp tempura, was so good. The sauce, I don't know what sauce that they put in there, was so good. So Panama City is, if you're a seafood lover, you're gonna love Panama City. Like I said, it's fresh and it's cheap. It's not as pricey as here because the water's right there. They catch it, they serve it to you. So that was great. The old quarter, after that, we walk around and people were like, there's a guy playing the instrument out in the public, in the main, a town square thing up in front of the church. They had people dancing and singing along. They had like tours, Spanish speaking tours, night tours, I guess. I don't know. Speaking Spanish to the group of people that were there. So it was very vibrant. It was like, oh, this is kind of like what I imagined the Panama culture would be, like it's like the old Panamanian culture, with old buildings. If you are familiar with Penang, again, in island in Malaysia, the Georgetown, where we have British colonial buildings, and also the same thing in Phuket Old Town in Thailand, also with British colonial buildings. There's some, I believe there's like some French building there too. But this one is Spanish building, but still colonial times, right? Back in the day. So that was really fun to be in the old quarter. And they have, the other shops there, restaurants there you can go to. People are having like white party, meaning like they're all dressed in white. So it was really lively, even though it was at nighttime. And Chris actually said that his Uber went to the other streets that have more people and like, celebrating whatnot. I don't know for what, but so yeah, it would be nice. We didn't get to go there during the day, so we didn't get to see the other, like walk around during the day, but that will be our thing to do on the next trip. That is day 3. And now let's go to day 4. Day 4 was an early start. Day 4, we met up with a developer agent at Bella Vista. Bella Vista is close to Cinta Costera, which is the coastline. I believe There's like coastline, there's like Avenida de Balboa there as well. The main thing, if you go all the way down, you hit Casco Viejo. Cinta Costera is the one like, there's tracks like people like jog and bike or not. So it's very close to that. It's just a couple blocks away from that was this new development that me and Chris been watching for a while about this development. We wanted to see it for ourselves. So the lady was super sweet to us. I was actually late. Chris got there earlier because he came from Hyatt and I came from Coco Del Mar residence. So I got there late. One thing you need to know about Panama City, the traffic is horrendous. That is understatement of the year. If it says 8 minutes on Google Maps or Uber, whatever, to get to where you need to go, at half an hour. I'm not even joking. We were like, I was like, oh my God, I'm still not, just getting to the causeway, just getting there takes a long time because there's so many cars and traffic. It's like madness. Uber is fine, it's cheap, but the traffic, if you have to drive through that every day, I don't know. It was giving Sukhumvit in Bangkok, where you can sit for like 20 minutes and not move. That's how it is in Sukhumvit area in Bangkok. So the traffic is bad. So I'm not gonna lie, traffic is bad over there. So if you are looking for a place to stay, if you're like gonna rent it or whatever, or you're gonna buy something like this place that I am telling you, the metro is right like outside, like 1 block over, I think. You can even see it from, because we went to see the model unit. She's like, the metro, Santo Tomas is right there. You can see it. Like the entrance, the green glass, frosted glass entrance is right there. That's Santo Tomas train, which is great. I can take that. If I buy the unit there, I can take the MRT and go to Cangrejo for my Spanish class. They have a Via Argentina metro station in El Cangrejo, so it's very convenient. I'm not planning to have a car in Panama City if I do move there for a couple of months. I'm not gonna have a car, and because I'm gonna leave and have the unit rented. Why would I get a car, right? I'll do Uber and deal with the traffic, but I'm not gonna drive, right, myself in that traffic. Oh, hell no. So the unit itself was great. We saw a 61 square meters unit, which doesn't look cramped in person. Like, in the pictures can be like, you don't know, 60 is kind of like small, 40 is definitely small, 60 something, it turns out not, because they have a flex space that you can turn into a second bedroom, but in the demo unit, they left it as a flex space. They put like a dining set there. There's a master bedroom. The shower is definitely way bigger than the one I'm staying at, at the residences. It's way bigger, has a rain shower, and also the countertops. Chris said this is quality I can't say that. This is quality countertops because Chris is very particular about things he put in his house. He builds new houses, and he chooses everything custom, right? And so he knows quality I can't even say that word. Quality countertops. As opposed to me, I'm be like, oh, that's pretty. He's like, no, it's not. It's not quality. Like, he knows. I don't. So uses gas. If you have gas stove, you're gonna save a lot of money because according to the agent, gas are cheap in Panama. Not so much electricity. And also have to think about if there is a power outage, if your stove uses electricity induction, right? You're not gonna be able to cook anything. You need to think about that because it does happen in Panama, power outage. So you need gas for the stove. If you have hot water or whatever, right? If the water tank is heated by electricity, I don't know if they have water heater tank because in Malaysia, our water heater is electric. If you don't have that, at least you can boil water and take a bath, right? If you have gas. If you don't have gas, electric, you're out of luck. So something to think about. And also, if you're gonna buy, do ask if the building comes with a backup generator or not. Because sometimes the other buildings that I saw, only certain ones that have backup generator, some of them only have backup generator for the common areas, like the lobby, the pool area, whatever. Only those, not the individual units. So make sure that that building actually have backup power generator for the actual units. Something to us. We like that unit. The only thing I would say that I wish it had was like some kind of an island in the kitchen, because I like island because I like to do cooking shows for YouTube. And I can talk to the camera like this, and I can cook. Like imagine like this is my island. I can cook, and I can cut whatever the ingredients, and I can talk to you like this. They didn't have that. It's just like a square thing, like around. It's more like closely resemble my current home kitchen. That it's kind of like just a square. There's nothing like an island divider thing. Previous one, day 2, the last one had the lock off one I told you about. The kitchen had an island. And then let me drink. I'm like thirsty. Talk too much. So and then we saw a smaller unit, which is like 50 something square meters. That one is it feels a little bit more small. It's a little bit more compact. And they also have a flex space that you can turn into a second bedroom if you want, or you can put like a sliding thing, that some people do, or put curtains, whatever. That one is also nice. The one that I like about this development is that the furnishing, you can choose whether you want a basic furnishing package or you want to get a mid-tier or you're going to get a luxury. The luxury one is really nice. I think the one that they use in the demo unit might be the luxury or the mid-tier, but it looks super nice. Like Chris mentioned how nice the countertops are. I mean, even the furnishing, the wall panels that they put like a wooden panels on the wall instead of just white wall. They put like wooden grain panel on the wall to make it look like more like the fancy luxury hotels nowadays. They do that. It was still nice, but it's it's a little bit more smaller than obviously square meters also, but it just feels also it's like smaller than the wide open feel at the first 61 square meters unit. But it's still great. We went to the common areas. The common areas are great as well. We have a pool upstairs, the roof, which is great that you can see 360 view of Panama City. You can see the beach. There's a paddle court. Paddle is basically like tennis or pickleball, something like that. It's very but smaller, I guess. I don't know. I don't play them. I don't play sports. So they call it paddle. But to me, the court looks like tennis court. What else? From the common areas, you can actually see the Panama Canal even. You can see she said, no, that's those poles with the flags. That's Panama Canal. You can see it there. You can see, the city view. You can see the ocean view. Obviously, this is the actual unit. I don't know. Maybe certain unit has an ocean view, but I don't know if they do. But the rooftop definitely has ocean view. You can go up there and enjoy the ocean view. This development is much more affordable because the 1-bedroom starts from, I believe, like 160 something. They have 2 bedrooms. They have the biggest one is like 3 bedrooms. They have a lock-off option too. They have multiple phases going on. Phase 1 already delivered. Phase 2 delivering in June. Phase 3 delivering, I believe, end of the year. And they have a hotel portion as well that you can buy. There's a lock-off option. If you get a lock-off option, then like one side, you can stay 3 months out of the year and then move to the other one another 3 months. But there's like limitations because they need the rooms for the hotel. Right now, it's their own brand, but I think they might go with like a international brand to get the major hotel brands customers to come and stay there. The area, like I said, there is that MRT Santo Thomas. Other good thing is that if you're gonna rent, that is just like a good place for renting to university students. Not freshmen, not sophomore. I'm talking about grad students. People who go to school to become a lawyer, because in Panama, there's 20 some protected special professions that require you to graduate from Panama school in order to become that profession, right? Meaning like lawyer, for example, you have to had graduated from Panama Law School to be a lawyer in Panama. That's just how it is. So there's like hospital, doctors getting their residency. So those are the people that would rent from that because it's right there. The schools, the hospitals is all around that area. So that's great. You can rent it down. They're 30 plus. They're mature. They're not like, 19, 20-year-olds who's going to trash your unit, right? So that's great. And then another thing also, 1 block away, other than the MRT station, is Ray. Ray is the grocery store. Another block is Reba Smith, the fancy grocery store. The agent also mentioned that the one called Foodie, that's like a specialized grocery store that's coming. They're gonna open like a celebrity chef, a Panama celebrity chef, fifth restaurant or something. I don't know. On the ground floor, because the ground floor is commercial. They have like a pet store, pet grooming, whatever that they're gonna have there. They're gonna have a bunch of stuff on the first floor. The area, in Bella Vista, she's saying that it's being re-gentrified. People, the government, putting more money, and people are pouring money in the area to make it nice again. Next door to this development is Armani building. I don't know if it's clothing store there or the home furnishing store. I don't know. I haven't been there, but she's like, that's under Armani building. So, if they put their building in an area, it's gonna be like a really nice area. Like you're not gonna find like a Mercedes in a shady area, right? Same thing, same concept. So that was great. I had like a really nice feeling about the agent, the actual unit, the area. So I was like, maybe like, you could consider this one because it's not too nice like the one I told you before that's like, okay, this is way too nice to rent. It's nice enough that you can live there and you can rent it out. But it's not too nice that be like, oh my God, people are gonna break my stuff. I don't want to rent, I want to live here. So it's like that. And the price is way reasonable for what you get. The location is, I believe, is the best. Like I said, is by the Cinta Costera, is close by Casco Viejo. It's not too far from El Cangrejo. It's not too far from San Francisco even. Parque Oma is a little bit further up. But if you want to go to just a small park, they have smaller park there as well. I feel like location can't be beat for this particular development if you are looking for something that's like super central in the city, that you can access all the other ones. Multi-Plaza Mall nearby as well, so you can go there and get my strawberry balls. That was 9 o'clock, right? So we had to meet another agent for 11 o'clock. I had to actually go back to my residences, get my stuff. I was checking out that day from the residences and move over to the Hyatt Regency where Chris was staying. So I had to gather my stuff and Uber over to Hyatt Regency, and I met with the agent there that she's gonna pick us up from there. We met with the agent. She brought her friend as well. So it's a lovely guy from Trinidad. And we went to see one in San Francisco, like at the very border of Obarrio, something like that. Anyway, it was one of the videos that I saw on YouTube, but I wasn't a fan of it because it's on the main busy road. But Chris liked that more. So we was like, oh, you know what? Let's go to see it because since we're already here, right? I did not expect us to go to a building that is unfinished, completely without model unit whatsoever. We had to wear the construction hard hats. Hair was like flattened by it. It was nice to show us around, but they were like, oh, imagine this is the bedroom. Like, it's hard to imagine when there's nothing, up to see. You guys don't have model units. Like, hard for us to imagine like this is gonna be the bathroom and just poles and concrete everywhere, right? But the view upstairs in the common area where the pool's gonna be, all very nice, like really high up, it's like 32nd floor or whatever. Really nice view of the city of Panama. So that was great. But the fact that we couldn't see a model unit, and also that is geared for locals, and I don't know, maybe they think that locals don't need a model unit, they can just look at the render and be okay with that. Like, for us, it's hard, especially we are from a different country. We're not used to your ways here. It's best to have a model unit like the other development. So that I'm like, okay, and then the area, didn't like the area either. That was like a easy no, right? It's nothing really much to see there. And then after that, we went to El Cangrejo again because one of the development there is also under construction, but this one has a model unit, so it's great. It also have a lock-off option. It's an Airbnb licensed building, so you can do Airbnb and it's a lock-off option. It doesn't have a separate entrance. It's more like one entrance. It has separate doors, but like the other one has its own separate entrance to the hallway. But this one, you go to one entrance and it has two doors. One is for one side that only have bedroom, but it has a kitchen, a two-stove kitchenette. Actual stove. And then the other one is the one with the 2 bedrooms. I believe there was 2 bedrooms and a full kitchen and all that stuff. It was really nice. The common area was nice as well. The pool was pretty big. The only thing about that place is it's in El Cangrejo. As much as I love being able to walk around El Cangrejo, go to El Trapiche, go to Sucaro, to go to, all the coffee shops there, right? And just hang out at the coffee shop. I don't know if I want to live there because there's bars and stuff. At nighttime, there'll probably be a lot of people. Think of it as like, if you're familiar with Bangkok, think of it like similar to Ceylon. Do you want to live in Ceylon? I don't think so. I would go and visit. I would, I would maybe stay in a hotel there. Do I want to live there? No, absolutely not. I would live in Satorn. Take the BTS to Ceylon, right? Basically, similar thing. I don't want to live in El Cangrejo, but I would live in Bella Vista next door, where the first one of the day we saw. I would do that. I have no problem living next door, but not in El Cangrejo. Even though I like that area, I just don't want to live there. So that was good to see that as well, to have that option. So to see that, El Cangrejo actually have a nice development as well. If you're looking for an Airbnb license, not every building has an Airbnb license. Only specific building has that license. So you make sure that it says license for Airbnb, like government license, not Airbnb ready. That doesn't mean anything. Make sure you actually have a license from the government to run Airbnb, so it's not illegal. That was that. And after that, we went back to Multi Plaza. The agent dropped us, me and Chris, to Multi Plaza. We had this middle of the courtyard, has like a Italian restaurant thing, but they have all kinds of food. They have like, sushi even on there. I had like a chicken sandwich. Chris had an avocado toast. It was great. It was really good food there. It's not too pricey, even though it looks fancy. We got Zim Hun Tang afterwards because, it's like I'm totally stoked. I was like, well, I could live here just because it has Zim Hun Tang. Strawberry balls. Priorities. After that, we decided, okay, well, let's go back to the Hyatt because our flight the next day was 7:55 a.m. in the morning, meaning that we have to be there at 5 at the airport. Good thing it's not too far away, meaning that we only have a couple of hours of sleep before we have to get up and get ready and take the Uber over to the airport. So we just had dinner at the Hyatt restaurant, which is great as well. They had really good margarita there. We had the salmon. The salmon was great. Then we went back, basically, and get up 3 hours later. And it's like, there's like 3 hours of sleep going to the airport. Luckily, I was able to, as I mentioned earlier, I was able to upgrade my seat. Oh my God, that was a process. When I was trying to check in, this is like, congratulations, we have an available upgrade to business class. They're like, just pay this extra $300, whatever, we'll upgrade you to the business class. They took my cash, my payment, did not upgrade my seat. It just still shows the back of the bus, Rosa Parks seat, all the way at the end of the plane. I'm like, you just took my payment. Why are you not, upgrading me? I had to call. First of all, if you type customer service number, the US number, busy, nobody's picking up. It just says busy. It's like, dun, 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 the busy ringtone. I had the Hyatt call them, the local Panamanian number of this airline, and had to wait like, I don't know, half an hour for someone to pick up. First person was like, I can't do anything about it. I'm going to transfer you because you bought it with miles. I said, but I'm not booking it with your miles. I'm booking it like your partner miles, right? How the miles department can handle this? But I got the other agent in the miles department that actually knows what she's doing. I was like, thank God she was able to put me back to the seat that I wanted to upgrade to in the first place. That the system did not upgrade. The system is like, I don't know. I mean, the crew, amazing, super friendly and everything, but software, but your website, what is going on with your website? Fix it. There was that. When we get up, getting an Uber is very easy, even though it was like, 5 a.m. in the morning. Easy to get an Uber to the airport. Didn't cost that much also. Absolutely no traffic, obviously, at 5 a.m. in the morning from the Hyatt Regency to the airport. And we got there in no time, and surprisingly there was plenty of people there trying to catch the early morning flight. And the security was a breeze, the immigration, they stamp your passport. One thing that I noticed that we went to Terminal 2, the new terminal. So I was kind of like, wow, okay, well, this looks like what I was expecting more when I arrived, because I arrived on Terminal 1, the old terminal, which looked like Selayang Mall near KL. If you know, you know. But now I saw there's another terminal that's like newer, more like our airport in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur International Airport. I'm like, okay, this is nice. I like the signal, but we still have to go and walk to Terminal 1, the old terminal, to catch our flight back to Chicago. And like I said, I got on the business seat, so much better. I was able to get up easily multiple times. My elbow doesn't hurt for sitting too long, not able to get up as much. Crew was really nice. They serve waffles or omelette. I actually had some omelette at the business lounge. They have a business lounge that we went before we bought our flight, because it's business class seat, right? They had a business lounge. I mean, the decor looks like from the 90s, but they had like scrambled eggs there. They had like some coffee and I think some fruit or whatever. Because I had the scrambled egg there, I didn't want to have an omelette. I had the waffle. It was not bad. They have snacks that they serve you. Once we got back to Chicago, one thing that I was seeing immediately is that once you flew into Chicago, because it's winter time, right? It's end of winter, whatever. Everything's like dreary and brown and gray. Night and day contrast with Panama City. Like Panama City, especially in Casco Viejo, is just bright colors, vibrant, and then it's just like brown, gray as you fly into O'Hare. I was like, oh my god. I miss it already. You know what I mean? We got to O'Hare, you go to immigration, and then you have to go out of security, even though both of us did not check our bags. But you still have to go out to security to take the train to go to the other terminal that serves the flight from O'Hare to Columbus. So you have to go out and check back in. But thank God, even with the partial government shutdown, the TSA in Chicago, when we were there was no line. They were not impacted. Like I know that in Atlanta, I saw the video, right? Houston, whatever, they have like 5-hour wait in the TSA, whatever. Like, thank God we didn't have to go through that at O'Hare when we were there. So yeah, that was basically a whole trip report. First impression of Panama City specifically. I would say it's certainly doable. The language, I would say, is a barrier. If you plan to move and live there as an expat, you need to learn Spanish, at the very least basic Spanish, because not everyone speaks English there. A lot of them do, but not everyone, because even when I was buying the pizza at the airport, when I arrived when I asked habla inglés to the cashier, she was giving me the look. You have to know some Spanish. It's just a thing that you need to pick up. So I feel like if you want to live there, it's better to take Spanish courses, like the one that I mentioned, that El Cangrejo has a Spanish school, Spanish language school that you can take. You can go and enroll and meet new friends there even, right? Because there are people who want to learn Spanish, who are living there for work or whatnot, expat or not. Yeah, learn Spanish, because it's a major barrier. Like, you can't depend on Google Translate every single time you need to ask. Especially if you're trying to order food, the server asks you in Spanish and you'll be like, you speak English, and she or he is not good in English and misunderstood what you want and all that stuff. Like, want to tell them not too spicy, whatever, right? So you need to learn Spanish. That's a big thing that I would say. Chris has an advantage of this. He went to Spain, for studies, I think, Mexico and all that stuff. So he has an advantage. He speaks Spanish. I don't. I need to seriously learn basic Spanish. And like I said, if I am moving there, I will be attending the Spanish language school. So, language definitely. Weather. If you are allergic to humidity, then I don't know if it's a good fit for you. But like I said, it did not bother me because I'm from the humid tropical country, KL, Malaysia. Very humid, very hot. So I'm used to that. So it's not a big deal for me, because that's why we have malls that never will ever die, because we go to the malls for free, AC, air condition. It's free. And just go to the mall and hang out there. That's what we do. You will see that videos. I went to the TRX mall with my bestie. That's what we do. We just, in KL, we go to the malls. I'm believe that if I live in Panama, I will be doing the same thing. I will go to multi-plaza mall just to enjoy the AC. So yeah, the weather is warm, but like I said, you have the coastal sea breeze. So it's not a big deal. At least you have that. In KL, we don't have that. We just have trap heat because it's a valley. All the heat doesn't go anywhere. It's just trapped. Microwave you, you know. So you're cooked, really, literally cooked. Because the haze and whatnot, I'm like, oh my God. And they don't have haze there. They don't. Or at least when we were there, they don't have haze. The sea is right there, so it's breeze. It's very like Penang. If you like the breezy ocean air, like in Penang, in Phuket, you would like Panama City. It's tolerable. It's not, in my opinion, not bad, even though it was 90 degrees when we were there. The sun wasn't like scorching, like your skin gonna be like burning up. No, I don't feel that way because the breeze is so nice. Safety, I did not feel unsafe at any point of time. Certain Latin American countries, they say like, oh my God, you know, you don't hold your phone like this, right? You don't be like doing this, taking selfie, whatever. Somebody's gonna run and snatch your phone and run away. Or videos, like, you know, camcorder. What a camcorder? Who is just camcorder? DJI pocket cam, right? Or small pocket cam, whatever. Selfie videos or your content creation. They say don't do that and somebody's gonna snag it and run away with it. I was doing this. Because my DJI cam broke down. I have this cam that I'm recording, which is a Sony. I use that as well. And I use my phone sideways like this to record myself. And I was doing that without any sense of, oh my God, I should not do that because it's unsafe. Never felt that way. Like I said, we were at Casco Viejo at night, did not feel unsafe. I didn't feel unsafe. Chris didn't tell me that he felt unsafe. Safety, I feel like as long as you don't go to the sketchy back alleys, you'll be fine. If you're at the touristy areas, you'll be fine. Just don't go to back alleys like normal sane person would not. You should not go to dark alleys anyway, anywhere on earth. You're just asking for trouble, right? So common sense. I know it's not common, but you just don't do that. So yeah, safety is not a big concern there. I don't feel unsafe. Food, if you are thinking that, you know, if I move there, I'm not gonna have American food, they're all Latin American food, Panamanian food. No, they have Olive Garden there. They have Popeyes, KFC, McDonald's, Burger King. All of that, PF Chang's. If you don't want to have fast food, you can go to PF Chang's or Olive Garden, right? They have that there. I don't know if it tastes exactly the same, but they have there. They have American food there. So not a big deal. You can make your own food, or you can go and do Panamanian food. Seafood lovers, you are in for a treat because it's cheap and fresh. Sushi, galore. I think food-wise is good. You know, like I said, they use US dollar, so you don't have to worry about like, oh my God, I have to exchange my money to Panamanian dollars. Don't have to do that. Don't have to deal with that exchange rate, whatnot. Bring your cash. You're fine. They take credit cards. I have not needed. I was reading like, oh, you need to bring cash in case that you go to a merchant that doesn't accept credit cards. Unless you're buying from a street food vendor that I did not have to do, or I didn't do this trip, I use credit cards the entire time. Amex is accepted a lot of places. There are only a couple of places that did not accept Amex, but most of them accept Amex. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised, because Amex is my number one card that I use, right? Not all, a lot of them accepted Amex. Like I said, I didn't have to use cash. Actually, I used cash in Chicago because my Amex didn't work. Airport. Also, I was reading that you need to show proof that you have $500. So I have $500 in cash I brought. I didn't have to show that to immigration. They didn't even ask for that. So I don't know, maybe like case by case basis that maybe sometime they ask for that proof of that you have money to spend in Panama. I didn't get asked for that. But I read about you have to show proof of $500, like a bank statement or whatever. Didn't ask for that. There are multiple options if you going to buy in Panama, to move there and buy for investment, or to move and live there. The projects that I saw. So just make sure that I would recommend do the same thing like I did, not just doing research on the projects that you watch the videos on YouTube. reach out to multiple agents and then arrange to meet with them, because you want backup, right? Because you could have a really good rapport. Even some of them will do video calls. You might be like, oh, you know, they're great on camera or they're great on the phone. They use WhatsApp a lot here. So make sure you have WhatsApp installed on your phone, because they will text you on that, and you can make calls on that as well. And video call, they can use like, you know, a team, Microsoft Teams or whatever. Even though you have a good rapport on the phone, on camera, it's not the same until you meet with them. Trust me on this, because I've done buying and selling real estate multiple times now, across multiple states, now potentially multiple countries, international real estate. So it's best to talk to them on the phone, not just email. Talk to them on the phone. If you can get video call, even better. But arrange to meet with them in person. Then you can tell whether they can actually provide you with good projects or listings that matches what you're looking for. Like if you tell them something and they bring you something else that you don't care for, but maybe that's what they specialize in. Like if they specialize in retirement places like that retirees would like, I'm not a retiree, it doesn't fit me, so I'm not going to be interested in what they have to show me. And like, no, I think, no, that's kind of like resort living is not something I'm looking for. Maybe retirees who are like 70, 60 plus ones, I don't, right? I need to be in the city. I need to find projects in the city that I can take the metro, subway, trains to go places. I can walk around. I don't want a car. I don't want to be by the beach, because they have like options at the beach as well. They have like Coronado. They have other projects as well. So make sure that they can provide you what you want. By having multiple agents, you can be sure that one of them, at least one of them, will hopefully give you what you want. You can also notice that whether you can have chemistry with the agent versus the other agent. Like pick the one that you have good chemistry and brings you good listing that you probably would want to choose from, right? So that's kind of like my tip for you. Trying to think of what else that I want to share in this video. I know it's super long video already, but do write in the comment section like any questions you have. I'll try to answer them, because I am, like I said, probably going back for my second trip in June, because hopefully there'll be more inventory for me to look at and check out before I make my decision where to purchase in Panama. But I am going towards, probably I will be purchasing a home in Panama for the purpose of, like I said, I'm going to stay there for a few months, then I'm going to rent it out for investment purpose, because I like getting the US dollar income. Even if I'm in Malaysia, right? If I'm getting US dollar income, transferring that to Malaysia is worth 4 times Malaysian money, Malaysian ringgit. So it's really good income source to have when you purchase and as an investment for rental unit. And like I said, also comes with that Panamanian green card as well. So it's just, you know, cherry on top. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I hope I will see you in the next video. Make sure if you do like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. This is a brand new channel that I have created specifically for expats life. I am going to be posting videos of expat living in Panama City, because that's what I'm going to be most probably end up at this year. I'm going to be posting about Kuala Lumpur, because I'm from Kuala Lumpur. But it's interesting, right? Because I'm like, I've lived in the US for 25 years. I'm, for all intent and purposes, American. I am not an American citizen. I don't have an American passport. I still have a Malaysian passport. But like I said, I am 25 years of my life, meaning that I've spent more years alive in the US versus my hometown, versus my home country. So my mindset is American. My culture is almost like American. So by me going to Kuala Lumpur, I'm basically an expat myself, even though I technically am not. Certainly I'm not a local. I don't live there, right? But if I'm gonna move there, I'm gonna be a reverse expat, or I would like to call it Rexpat. Reverse expat, Rexpat. I just made it up. I think the technical term, they call it repatriate, because you return back to your home country where you originated from. You know, you move to another country, stay there for a few years, and you go back. It's repatriating, but I like the term reverse expat more, because technically I'm an expat expat in my own country. Because I'd be like all American, like I don't even talk and sound like the local Malaysians anymore. I have some words that I still have like a British. Instead of Americans say, oh my God, right? I don't say oh my God, I say oh my God. God is British. A Malaysian would say oh my God. We don't say oh my God. They say oh my God here in the US, but I still have that. Certain words I still have that British English influence. My accent, right? It's not completely American. It's definitely not Malaysian English. I do not talk like them. And some people also think I do not look like them, which is funny. So anyway, yeah, let me know if you have any questions whatsoever in the thing. This will be a new channel. Subscribe and support me. That way, comment on your questions. Share this video if you know an expat friend who kind of wanted to know the first impression of Panama City that never been and thinking to go to Panama City. Share this video with them. And also, if you haven't done so already, like I said, this is a new channel. Make sure you subscribe because my other channel, Share Unbox, I will be focusing more on my labubus. I was like, first I wanted to lump everything in one channel, that Share Unbox. I have 22,000 subscribers on there. I have like over 25 million views. I was like, I'm just gonna put the whole expat stuff in there also in one channel, like the whole Labubu, luxury travel, expat all in one channel. Like, I don't know if that's gonna work because, like expats, if you are an expat, you tend to be like a working age or older, maybe retired. You want to move to a different country, like Panama City. That's why you're watching this video. You don't care about Labubu, right? Do you? Probably not. You probably don't even know what Labubu is. So I decided to have this new channel so that we can focus on expat living in these multiple cities where I will be staying at. So stay tuned and thank you so much for listening me babble for like, I don't know, multiple hours now. Might have to cut this down a little bit, the final version, but I feel like I've been talking. It's 3 a.m. in the morning now. I start at 1 something? First video for a new channel that is super long. Anyway, thanks so much again for your time. I hope you enjoy Panama City and do let me know if you do go and what you think about it, or if you already there, also let me know what you think about Panama City and Panama in general, whether you like it or not, let me know. Alright, until next time, happy expat living and I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you subscribe, okay? Alright, bye! If you want to see the next expat live video, then check this out.